Hi everyone, welcome to Code Kamkaj YouTube channel. I hope everybody are doing good. In this video, we'll be discussing about how to push a large data set from a local to Google Drive by the help of DVC. So in the last video, we have seen how we can perform the same activity into AWS S3. So today's video, we'll be see how we can push the large same data set, which is Bangalore traffic data set from our local to remote by the help of DVC and the Git version control. So stay tuned till this video. I have brought the documentation similar like the studies, like in the last video. So where we have the prerequisites, you should install Git Bash in your Windows, or Git has to be installed in your Linux or Mac OS. And you should have a Google account, and it should have the Google you need to create the service account in Google Cloud account. So when you make a connection between your local DVC to your Google Drive, so you should enable a service account to get authenticated. And you should have a Google Drive as a folder. And so once you have created, you need to give the respected permission for that. And later, we can perform all the basic commands like initializing and adding the large data set into staging area and all. So that's the activity that we are going to perform in this lecture. And now let's see our source code. So this is our source code along with the large data set. So this data set we will push from our local to remote, which is Google Drive by the help of DVC. And the rest of source code will be managed by Git. So since Git is not compatible to track all the large data set, that's why we are pushing it, and we are making it as a version. We'll create different branches, and we can change the data set from that branch, and we can push it and we can pull it. So we will be discussing all those operations in on this upcoming or coming lectures. So stay tuned for that. So yeah, I have opened the Git Bash at the same path where I have all my source code along with the data set. So this is where if I do ls, sorry, if I do ls, I can see all my data set and my source code related to my machine learning model. So as per the documentation, so first we need to create the we need to create the Google Drive, and later we can go with the service account. So I'll go to the Google Drive. So this is my Google Drive. It is simple, like I can come here, the list of all the applications or services from the Google. You can click on Drive, and you can see the same console what I can see it. So from here you can create the drive. Click on New, and you can say New folder, and you can give the folder name. It can be DVC or it can be anything. You can give it as your desire. And now it has been creating. If I refresh it, so it has created. Now it is time to make it as a permission, so you need to grant the permissions for this. So for that, I'll go inside of this, and I'll specify the permissions for this, where I think I need to go back. So share, organize folders, move to trash. So I'm sharing to everybody, anyone with the link, and once it is updated, and I can give the access of editor and commenter. I'm for time being I'm giving going to give a editor access, so anybody can write into this link, and I'm going to click on done. So this is how you can grant the all the access to your Google Drive. Now we have created the Google Drive with the name of DVC, and we have given all the required permissions to write the data into this Google Drive. Now it's time to create the service account. So you should have the Google Cloud account for this, so you can integrate that with your drive whenever you do DVC push. So usually in the backend days, you can the DVC itself will redirect your browser and it will ask you to authenticate, but it has been removed and that feature has been deprecated. Now we need to configure the service account. So that's why you are unable to do that. So without service account, you'll get bunch of issues. So for that, you just need to come to the Google Cloud console, and you need to search for service accounts. So you need to come to this service account. I am an admin, and you need to say create service account. You can give the service account name as anything. I will give as a time for timing. I'll give as a DVC, and you can give description why you're creating. So you can say that DVC authentication, and you can say create and continue, and you can just give a role for this. You can say the basic role. I can say that like owner role, and just place on continue. It's up to your customization how would like to do that. You can give it, otherwise you can just give a basic owner account, and you can say that you can give the service account user role as a DVC and admin role as a DVC itself. I'm going to give it as for both similar, and if you just click on done, and now you have successfully created the service account, but you need to download the JSON file for this. So you should just come here and go to these manage keys and click on add key. Just say that create a new key. So it's a JSON format. Keep it as it is. Just click on create. It will be created and it will be downloaded into your local machine automatically. So we are going to use that JSON file while we are authenticating with the our Google account. So this is how you can create a service account. So you can come back, and you can see here you have the service account. So it has been enabled, and even if you see the key has been enabled here, and this is the auth client ID, and you can get it all the information over here. You can go to it and you can explore it, what all information you have gained, what all permissions, and what all keys you have added, and what are the metrics, what are the logs. So you can get all the information from here, from the Google Cloud Console itself. Fine. So we have done two activities. First one, we have created the Google Drive and given the required permission, and second thing that we have created a service account in into your Google Cloud Console, and we have download the JSON file. So I'll go to my downloads. I'll keep that JSON file into my source code itself. Downloads. I'll copy this and I'll go to my source code. So I'll rename it as any other name instead of the name which was given by Google. I'll say that DVC is the JSON key name for this. So instead of going with the other naming convention, I just given the DVC itself as a name for my JSON file. Fine. So it's time to use the commands to push the large data set, which is the Bangalore traffic data set. If I open it, so it is huge data set here. It's a bunch of records are available. I don't know, like 89,000, 8,941 records, 8,930 records are available, and it's a Bangalore traffic data set based on the location and area. So it has been collected all the data. Fine. So I'm going to open the Git bash and we'll perform a similar activity that we have performed in the last video. I clear the screen. So first, the command is git init. And before that, I forgot to mention the one of the commands. So if you haven't installed the DVC Google Drive, installer, so I recommend you to use this. So you can just come up and you can just paste it. It will get downloaded. In my case, it has been already satisfied the requirement. That's why it can say that requirement will be satisfied. Yeah, it say that Git requirement has already satisfied. In your case, if you're using in virtual environment or if you're using any other environment, so you can specify it and you can install the Google Drive connected to your DVC. This is the module or package that you need to install in your local. That is a dependency for this activity. Fine. So currently our application, our source code has not been tracked with any Git. So just we have the source code and we have downloaded the JSON file for our service accounts, and we have the other data set and source code. Now if I do git init, so one dot git init dot git file will be created here. If you see this one, so dot git has been initialized and it has created, and it will get track all the changes of the related source code. Now it's time to go with the documentation. It's time to initialize the DVC into our dataset tracking. DVC init. So I have initialized it, and now you can see that DVC has been initialized. And now it's time to add our large data set into the staging area. So for that, I'll use a DVC add, and after that, my data set name. I'll clear the screen. DVC add Bangalore dataset.csv. This is the command that we need to use for adding our dataset into your staging area. So we got this issue because of this process file, because this is being used by another process, which means like in our Excel, I mean the CSV file is open. That's why it is saying that. Now if I rerun the same command, I have closed the CSV file. If I rerun the command, so we won't face any issues. So it has successfully added into a staging area. Now it's time to let our git to ignore the data set, which is a .csv, and we'll copy this command. Copy this command. I'll clear the screen and I'll paste here. So we have successfully add the git ignore for our large data set. Now it's time to add rest of the source code information, like source code to our git. So for that, I'll mention git add dot. So other than my large data set, so it will be add all the uh, source code, such as data collection, pre-processing, whatever code we have related to Python. So it will be added the git staging area. Now you see like git status. Now it has been in changes to be committed, so it has been tracking all these files. And now it's time to add the git commit. So before that, I'll mention that we need to add the Google Drive into your DVC. So for that, we can use the DVC remote add command. So I'll copy this command and I'll come to my console. I'll clear the screen. So I'll paste here. And if I go back to my Google Drive, so here I have, and if I open this drive, the respected folder. So this is my folder ID. I'll copy this till this point, and I'll go back to my command line. So where I have the command, so I need to replace the folder ID with the actual folder ID that we have copied from Google Drive, and I'll paste it. So which means we are adding the remote, and this is the Google drive remote name, G drive remote, and G drive remote. This is the remote ID of our folder, and accordingly it will get added. So it has been set it up, and this is our currently remote name, which is a G drive remote. And now we can use this G drive remote to push all our large data set from a local to Google Drive with this folder ID. And now it's time to commit the changes. So I'll copy the command, so instead of before committing changes, so first we need to add the authenticator, Google authenticator, whatever service accounts JSON file we have downloaded. So we are going to add those all changes, and later we'll commit the changes and we'll push it. So I'll specify Google Drive use service account true. So I'm going to specify that, hey DVC, so take this command, and with this command you are going to use a service account instead of directly authenticating via manually through CLI. So you're going to refer the service account for authentication. If I press enter, so it will get true, and if you don't pass it, so it will be false. So that's why you need to get overridden via this command. And now it's time to add your JSON file into whatever JSON file we have downloaded. So it's time to add this JSON file path. So if you see this one, you're going to modify the remote. So DVC remote modify G drive remote and GD drive service account, and this is the file path and file path name, and this is the file path. So where I have my file path is like documents and DVC traffic. So where I have copied all my JSON file into the respected path. This is my path, and now I'm going to specify the JSON file path name as a dvc.json. So now I'm going to remove this, the your service account key.json. So I'm going to replace this with the uh, dvc. So this is how I can specify it, hey, my service account JSON file is available into my respected OneDrive, documents, and DVC, and traffic and subdirectories. After that, this is the JSON file, and it has all these service account details to get authenticated, and I'm letting to my DVC tool. So if I press enter, so it has been successfully injected all my sensitive information into DVC. Now it's time to do the git commit and other operations. So we have already do the git add. Now it's time to do the git commit. So I'm going to copy this. and paste it here. So all the changes has been committed. If I do git status, now it has been changes has been modified other than the .dvc config, because whenever you injected the um like service account, so that's why it is saying that dvc dot config. So you need not to worry about it. We are not going to push these changes. We are only going to only push the changes related to the large data set. So we can clear the screen. And now it's time to use the git dvc push command. So with this push command, you can push all the changes from your local to remote, like Google Drive. So I'll go and refresh my Google Drive to show you where currently does not have anything in this local, so it's empty currently. And if I say this dvc does not have anything, if I just paste the command dvc push, so what will happen? It will push the large data set, which is Bangalore traffic data set, from a local to remote, which is a Google Drive. Now you see this, it's trying to push it from a local to remote. And as already know that, it is going to push all the data as hashing mechanism. So it won't push as it is whatever lost data set is available in your local. It won't replicate the same way. Instead, it will be store it as a hashable. So it has successfully pushed the large data set from a local to remote. And if I go here, if I'll do refresh, I can see the hashable file. So I'll go to files and md5, and after that, o2, and this is my hashable file. So it has been successfully pushed at 4:20 p.m., which means like just now. And this is the size of it. Now it is just 1.5 MB. And if you're working into the real time, so this data set can be large and it can be used. So that's why it's good practice to versionize your large data set via DVC. So this is how you can push all the changes from your local to remote. And if I if I do ls, so I have all my changes, which is one is a original data set, another one is hashable. So what I will do, I will delete this file, which is Bangalore traffic dataset.tcsv, and whatever data we have pushed as hashable, so we are going to pull it from the Google Drive itself. Since we have already made a connection between our local to remote, so we can do a number of operation. So what I will do, I'll remove this Bangalore traffic dataset. So I delete it, and if I do ls, I don't see any data set file which end with a .csv, but it end with a DVC because it has been hashable. So now it's time to pull the data set from the our Google Drive, but it will pull it from the hashable and it will store into CSV. That's the beauty of DVC. So what I will do, I will say DVC pull. So whatever data set we have deleted, and we already pushed that data set into remote host. So we have just deleted from our local, and we are pulling that from remote to local now. So if I do DVC pull, it will pull the same data set from our remote to local. So for this one, so a file has been added and Bangalore traffic dataset has been successfully downloaded. If I do ls, so this is where I have my Bangalore traffic dataset. And this is how we can do a number of operations. And if you want to switch the branches, so you can say that uh, git branch. So currently I think we are in master, so we say the git branch DVC, and I'm going to create the branch out of my master branch. So now we have the two branches. If I do this git branch, so I have two branches. I'll check out this branch, git checkout DVC is the command. If I do this command, so I am going to switch the from our master branch DVC branch. So I have the similar source code, whatever master branch I have it. So in this branch, I will do all my experiments. I can raise the PR from my DVC branch to the master branch, and I can do whatever operations I want, and even I can push from here to DVC also. Like you can add any other data into your Bangalore traffic data set. Let's see, nano Bangalore traffic data set.csv. So I'm going to add any one of the I'm going to remove this date like 2022. Instead of that, I'll say that 2021. So I have changed the data set into my DVC branch. So I'll save it. Now my dataset has been changed, so it's time to push the same dataset from our local to remote, but from the DVC branch. If you see this one, we have the O2, which is if I go back, I have the O2 as a subdirectory. If I push it from DVC, it will be changed. It will be add another sub branch here. It won't store into the similar O2 directory, because this O2 directory has been pushed from the master branch, so that's why it is going to change it. So I'll say that uh, DVC add Bangalore traffic data set.csv. Similarly, whatever commands we have followed, we need to follow the same commands. So again, I'll add this into git ignore if it is overridden. So I'll paste over here, and I'll ask the git add. We need to add it. So if you haven't changed anything, but for safer side, I'm just adding all the source code related information into staging directory of my git, and I'm going to give a git. Oh, sorry. Git commit hyphen m. I'm going to say that added the data set from DVC branch. So committed, and now it's do git status. Now on the branch of DVC, nothing to be committed. Working tree is clean. Now it's time to push the changes from our local DVC branch to remote, Google Drive. So what I will do, DVC push. So currently we have only O2 subdirectory here, and if I if I do DVC push, it will create another subdirectory, and all the data set will be hashed and it will be pushed into the remote. So it has been pushing. So one file pushed. If I do refresh, so another subdirectory has been created on the name of 26, and here I'll have the hash data set here. So this is how you can play around the number of versions of your data set. You can tuke around the data set. You can create the number of branches. Like if you're working in the different varieties of machine learning models, so you can create a number of data sets. You can do a number of experiments and runs by the help of all this DVC flexibility. So yeah, I hope it is clear for everybody about how to push the large data set from our local to remote by the help of DVC data version control tool, and related to the versioning and related to branch creation and pushing and pulling all the activity. So if you still have any queries, so I request you to drop your comments in comment section. So I'm happy to reply you back, and I hope you liked it. So please subscribe to my channel and share to your friends and family members who are willing to learn machine learning and upcoming technologies. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Stay safe.